and welcome back to Focus. I'm going to lead with a brief follow up on two stories from our previous episode, covering two opposite spectrums, and introduce you to two new ones. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for tuning in, and welcome back to Focus. The line set to change the urban world as we know it. 20,000 people displaced later, and a few lives lost down the way. A utopia casting a very long shadow. Plastic found in the blood of all participants in a town in North Carolina. Really not looking good for the rest of the world. And as dozens of rockets fall one way out of its margin, let's say, as a rocket lands in Poland, it seems this war is reaching way out of its boundaries, not just affecting our pockets anymore, but in a clear sign this could lead to more. And as those rockets fall, one rocket launches to the moon. The Artemis project is on its way. Remote controlled, mind you, but it's going to be amazing. The Line, an environmentally friendly megacity, set to revolutionize the world as we know it when it comes to urban living. Staged to be the world's most technologically filled city that will be a game changer as far as anyone's concerned. With reports of environments of mechanical dinosaurs to artificial moons, I think their ambition goes without saying. They want to have flying taxis, obviously, and an underground public transportation system that will lead from one end to the other. I mean, needless to say, it would be amazing. But if you have been following the story, not like many have, I don't know whether or not you've seen it in the papers, heard any of the stories, or even seen it on the news. Regardless, what they have done in recent news is started clearing the foundations. There's some amazing drone footage that has come along with it. And like I said, needless to say, the ambition goes without saying. Where they can be and what they can do is going to be amazing. The city itself, needless to say, if you look at any of the renders, looks more than incredible. If it does complete. Saudi Arabia's The Line is said to be yet another shining jewel to be inserted not only into its crown of achievements, but the landscape, and also at a cost of at least $500 billion, 20,000 people being displaced, three of which sentenced to death by the courts, and one killed in a shootout with the police that we are aware of. This utopian beacon of environmentally friendly living is casting a pretty long shadow. And so far, despite having started on their foundation, it seems like they're off to a pretty shaky start, and what they're building their foundations on doesn't seem to be only cement. But I'm going to focus on this topic just for a little longer, and I'm going to do a full length episode on it. So tune into the next episode where I dedicate it solely and only to the line. You know how they say blood in the water? Well, soon it might be plastic in the blood. In a town near the Cape Fear River Basin in America, North Carolina, carried out by the State's University, the North Carolina State University, in the largest ever study carried out, containing 1,500 participants. And practically all of them have tested positive or show signs of plastic being in their blood. Some of these participants have been told to get further treatments in hospitals because of the high levels detected in their blood, meaning they are at risk of certain things like immunodeficiencies, cancers, and, like I said before, many others. Now, these PFAs number in the thousands, nearly 12,000 actually, and they are used to make things heat, stain, and water resistant. So it makes sense why it isn't breaking down and such high levels can still be and have been detected in rainwater all over the world. And it just goes to show that this is not just a problem that is in our minds. Like I said, drinking rainwater now is not just a myth when they say it might make you sick. It's real. And they keep linking these studies to many other deficiencies and problems happening to people. And like I said, the prevailing problem seems to be getting worse. But with the fact that these studies have been linked to a reduction in the population, and when I say a reduction in the population, I mean a reduction in the birth rate. But that's something I can and we shall explore together if you catch me in another episode where I will do another full feature-length episode, and we will talk about these PFAs or PFOs, plastic forever chemicals, and we will go into much, more detail. Like I said, the world's an amazing place. It's hard for us to, try to keep it that way, but we can at least try. A missile hit a village in Poland today. A farm. 2 people have been killed. It happened just over 6 kilometers or 4 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. And the world accused Russia. Russia denied the attack and accused NATO allies of provoking escalation. In between that time, the G7 leaders meeting at the G20, which was overshadowed by emergency talks regarding this missile. Further reports came out saying that the missile came from the Ukrainian anti-air defense network. So it was a surface-to-air missile trying to shoot down a cruise missile. NATO then has reason to say that the escalation is at ease. But then Vladimir Zelensky says that the missile did not come from Ukraine and asked to be a part of the investigation launched into the origin of the missile. But with people talking about Articles 4 and 5, as always, what's happening is up in the air, and no one can say where we are going or what's going to happen. The fears of more or less impending nuclear apocalypse is coming. Since Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014 and now 2022, not 2022 since February when this new invasion started, it's estimated that at least 100,000 people have been either killed, captured, wounded, or missing. And now, since February this year, it's estimated that at least 200,000 soldiers, that number split down the middle, have been killed. Now, obviously, it's a war. Ukraine and Russia are not going to say how many people have actually been killed, how many soldiers they've actually lost. I mean, at the end of the day, war isn't like what it was when it was. The speed at which information gets around now is even more insane, and there's no hiding it. So the need to keep a hush-hush on how many people have been killed is necessary, understandably. Still doesn't take away the fact that it's estimated that 100,000 soldiers are estimated to have been killed on both sides. So 100,000 lives lost to Russia, 100,000 lives lost to Ukraine. Now, since February 2022, it's estimated that at least 15 to 30 million refugees have been created since the war. Well, that's thought to be the number anyway. But the UN, United Nations, has recorded at least or nearly 8 million coming from Ukraine and Russia. And like I said, the war is affecting us all over the world. Now, don't get me wrong, there are wars being waged all over the world, but despite us always looking at North Korea as an impending threat, considering that they always say that they will retaliate with swift nuclear responses, this new war in Russia, with Vladimir Putin developing hypersonic missiles, these things can travel 6 times the speed of sound. That's 6,000 kilometers per second. No, not per second, but miles per hour. Those are insane speeds. Right now, no military has a defense system that is quick enough to pick up, far less shoot down, one of these new hypersonic weapons. And it's become the latest craze, because not only is Russia doing it, China's doing it, America's pushing for it, and obviously everyone else is going to want to jump on the bandwagon. It's funny, it feels like 50 years ago, nearly, when America and Russia were fighting for dominance over space, hint, like they are now. And not only that, pushing for this new weapon that could change the game in warfare. And they found it. Hiroshima changed the world as we know it. But here we are again, with all world leaders more or less rushing to empower themselves with this new game-changing weapon, hypersonic missiles, capable of delivering payloads anywhere in the world within half an hour to an hour. So it means the time you get a notification, an alarm goes off, the amount of time you have to spend with your loved ones is Not much. And then we think about what's going to happen to the world. How will world leaders respond? By retaliative strikes, launching their own missiles? And then what happens? We have nuclear missiles going off all over the world, decimating hundreds of thousands of hectares of land, leaving them uninhabitable, irradiated for hundreds of years. And the ensuing fallout, if any of us survive, would see defects leading in all of us for way too long. And I say this in no light heart. Chernobyl was a game changer. Hiroshima was a reality. These things are no longer possibilities. These things are seeming more and more every day like inevitabilities. With NATO talking about Articles 4 and 5, which is basically NATO deciding whether or not they want to retaliate, and if or not what force they will use to retaliate. Let's bear in mind that Putin has what he also calls the SATAN missile, which is an intercontinental ballistic missile which is capable of launching a further 7 missiles, each of them which can target and locate each individual nation. G7. Putin has already made clear and carried out war games / live fire drills. Well, I won't say live fire drills, but drills describing what he called as the annihilation or Operation Thunder, which was his scenario of destroying England, the UK, with a 3-strike missile blast: land, sea, and air. Now, no one wants this to happen, and I pray that it doesn't, for one, because for my children, the world would be a very, very sad place. It's bad enough everything that's happening. The threat of this world that we know it becoming ruin simply because our world leaders may or may not make the right choices. There are soldiers on the Russian side. There will be high officials. Some of you must want to ask yourselves, is this really what you want? The legacy you want to leave behind for your children? Will you follow these orders when he says to launch those missiles? Will you allow the world to fall into ruin? The soldiers who are standing by for those missiles that are deployed all over, those long-range bomber pilots who are on standby, waiting for that order to jump into that hypersonic jet, which can arrive here between an hour or 2 hours. That's how long the plane would take to get from Russia to here, but the missile it launches would be a lot quicker. Are you really going to fire that missile? Are you really going to destroy the world and cast it into flames and ruin? For your children's sakes, for our children's sakes, I hope that this is never the reality. Chernobyl was a disaster. Hiroshima taught us a lesson. Right now, we as people must look at ourselves and we need to say something. We must not only stand behind our world leaders, we must convince them to do what is right. And I am not saying that they need to fight. I am saying that these weapons that can change the face of the planet as we know it must be put to rest. They cannot be allowed to see the light of day. Like I said, the world is an absolutely amazing place. As far as we know, there's only one of them out there. Are we really going to ruin it? I mean, if ever there was something we all needed to focus on, I think this is it. And as Apollo ascended 50 years ago, we took our first baby steps into space and onto the moon. So too now has his twin sister, Artemis. And since the Apollo 17 launch, the Artemis 1 carrying the Orion space capsule will be the first crew-capable capsule to be launched anywhere near towards the moon in that time. Now, since this rocket launch, the capsule itself, on this mission, the Artemis 1 rocket launch mission, NASA has broken multiple records as it is, including one for having a crew-capable module reaching the furthest away from Earth, which is 450 kilometers away from the planet. Along with that, the SLS rocket also earned the title of being the most powerful rocket to carry a payload into space to date. Along with sending Artemis and Orion on their 3-week unmanned mission to the moon so that it can carry out experiments entailing or to do with radiation and other deep space technologies that will revolutionize how we see and continue to achieve our goals in space. The Artemis program itself will and hopefully set new boundaries and achievements when it comes to space travel, with the Artemis 2 rocket hopefully launching by 2024 to carry the first woman and man of color to the moon. Now, Artemis 1 is just a prelude to test out all of our capabilities. And when I say our capabilities, I mean us as a species. Like I said, Earth is amazing and the people are absolutely fantastic. So this mission is going to test out multiple aspects of our capability to get there. So it is going to be doing hard shop work on all of the hardware, software, and everything we do to ensure, or anything I say, make sure that we are ready for the second and third launches. But arguably, among all the tech that's being tested, I think we would all be more interested in the actual flight suits / space suits that, if anything, any future astronauts would be wearing. Let's say what will be protecting us in the future. So NASA's special Moonikins have the title of testing the future in space suit technology as far as NASA is concerned. Every other country has their own visions and virtues that they want to uphold, and whatever they think is more of a priority when it comes to creating and designing theirs. Telsa's looks pretty nice. We've all seen that from his launches, especially some of the commercial ones. But as I said, NASA's Moonikins have the title of
testing out how well the future, how can I say this, moon goers are going to, survive. With any luck, like I said, this launch will pave the way for NASA's Artemis program's future missions. And like I said, Earth is amazing, and this is out of this world. The program itself, the launch, is set to splash down on the 11th of December. And by 2024 is when we'll see the next Artemis launch. By then, if you're interested enough, I'm sure you're gonna come around or find a chance to find some information about this yourself. Until then, catch me the next time where I come in with a more compressed version, or a slightly more compressed version of the Artemis program, and let's just say space on a whole, because I mean there's a lot in our history in the time that's transpired. I'll try to be brief, but our history is kind of vast. Take care, and thanks for tuning in. Remember, we all need time to focus.
For links to the articles, check out the episode description. If you want to leave a comment, check out the trailer description for the email address. For topics like these and more, check out future episodes. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to focus.